Hey viewers, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be continuing our review of the House of X Versus System 2 PCG box. Now this is a two-player box, so we ended up cutting this little review into two pieces. I posted the first piece a little bit ago. That was on the X-Men side of the box. This time we're going to be moving right on into the Brotherhood of Mutants side of the box. So let's dig right in. We're going to start off with the main characters as we did last time. First we have Magneto, which is sort of the direct counterpart to the Charles Xavier main character we looked at in the last video. Now, Magneto is obviously Brotherhood of Mutants team affiliated. He has 5 health just like Charles. His stats are a little different. He has 2 attack and 5 defense, and he has flight and range. That's good to have. So here's a superpower. There are no sides, and during the build you can play a yellow and reveal the top 4 cards of your deck and put each Brotherhood of Mutants and X-Men supporting character into your hand and then shuffle the rest back into your deck. This is the exact same ability we saw on the Charles main character, which is why he's sort of the counterpart besides being Magneto and Professor X, obviously. So this ability again is very good. You can search up any early to even late game characters you may need if you haven't drawn them, and it really helps with the level up condition of the character. So his level up condition is Savior of Mutant Kind. The level up 4, when a Brotherhood of Mutant character or X-Men supporting character appears on your side, you gain an XP. It's the same level up as Charles, and of course it is easy to fulfill. You can get this going. You can level up with this level up condition about turn 3. Turn 4 is going to be more likely. The important thing is that usually you should be able to get it done before you have to die, or before you could possibly die because you have 5 health. So his level 2, when he finally levels up, gets obviously a stat buff. He goes to 4/9, 4 attack, 9 defense, and he retains the first there is no sides superpower, but then he gains there's just what I want. There's just what I want. Okay, so now in the main you can pair red, choose a face-up Brotherhood of Mutants or X-Men supporting character on your side, and then put that many +1/+1 counters equal to that character's attack on Magneto. Now this superpower is very similar to the Charles one, except it is different. Instead of putting the +1/+1 counter you get from the character you chose onto one of your other supporting characters, you put onto Magneto himself, which obviously is good, but it's different. I believe this power is better because obviously you could use it to get yourself a lot of stats on your main character, and that will keep them alive for longer. Not to mention this character has flight and range, so you can put him in the back row and assault almost the entire board with him. So I do like this superpower a little bit more than the Charles one, but the Charles one is equally as fun, and we'll have to wait to see if it's equally as good. Next, we're moving on to the Mystique main character. She has 5 wounds. She is Brotherhood of Mutants team affiliated. She has a range and 3 attack, 4 defense. Now she has superpower Infiltrator. During the main, she can pay a red, and you can name a team. Mystique can then attack enemy characters with that team this turn, even while they are protected. Now that means that even if they have somebody in front of them, or if they have even a flyer in front of them, she can still attack somebody in the back row as long as they have the team affiliation that she chose with Infiltrator. I do believe it's a nice little superpower, but my real problem with this card comes in with the level up condition, which is so many targets. She levels up with 5 XP, and at the start of your main phase, Mystique gains 1 XP for each different enemy team. Now, this could go really fast depending on how many different team affiliations your opponent is playing, but if they happen to only be playing if they're playing loyalty, this will take 5 turns to level up, which is pretty slow considering she's a 5 health main character, which means by the time she levels up she might be down to her last health, or even she might die before it comes to pass. But she can level up turn 3 easily, about turn 3 or turn 2, but generally you're going to end up leveling up turn 4, turn 5, and she's not like she's super defensive the way she is now, though I do like the first superpower quite a bit. But when she does level up, she does get a stat boost. She goes up to 7 defense and 6 attack, and she gains a new superpower, Deceiver. She can pay a yellow during the main and name a team. Enemy characters of that team can't attack Mystique on their next turn. So, I like this one, especially if your opponent is playing a mono team. So although you took a little bit longer to level up if they happen to be playing a loyalist team with only one team affiliation in their deck, but once you get to this point, then you can use their superpower to shut them down from attacking on their next turn. Also, if you have somebody you're really afraid of attacking, somebody who's really going to deal damage to you, can mess up your board state, then you can name that person's team and they can attack on the next turn. I really like this second superpower, and considering if you survive to this point, I really believe that you can use a superpower to great effect. Well, obviously now if your opponent's playing a lot more team affiliations, you'll level up quicker, but the second superpower will be a little less useful. I actually do believe that it's a nice little trade-off you get here when playing the main character. Is it one of my my favorite main characters? No, but I do believe it's a nice little fun main character at the very least, and of course we'll have to see how good it truly is. Next main character we're going to have to take a look at is Juggernaut. Obviously, he is Brotherhood Mutant Team affiliated. He has 6 wounds, 5 attack, and 5 defense. He has neither flight nor range, but the 5 attack and 5 defense is very much higher than you'll see on average, and this card has actually a lot of things going for it. Obviously, when we get to level 2, I'll really give my full opinion on it. Now, so 5 attack, 5 defense, good. He has a nice superpower, Invulnerable. During the main, you can play green, and Juggernaut can't be stunned or wounded this turn, which means he can attack anybody, and they can't attack him back. Obviously, this doesn't work when someone's attacking him on their turn, but during your turn, you can use it to protect yourself from being stunned. Now, he has a really good level up. It's Crimson Gem of Sidorak, level up 2. When you play a red basic location, Juggernaut gains 1 XP. Now, you can only have 4 red basic locations in your deck, so it's not exactly a guaranteed turn 2 level up, but it is quite common to get at least 2 of the same basic location by turn 2. Like, it's actually not hard at all. I've played a couple games. It's very common to get it, and even if it takes you turn 3 or turn 4 to get this level up going, then you still have 6 health, so you still have a little more health to play around with after you level up. And when you do level up, you get this really cool ability. So when you level up, you only gain more defense. You go up to 10 defense, but we'll talk about why your attack doesn't really need to change in a bit. You retain the invulnerability superpower, but you gain a new superpower, Limitless Strength. Now, this superpower during the main, you can pay 2 reds. Now let me remind you that you have to play at least 2 reds to get to this point, so you kind of will most likely have these 2 reds, and especially since you're playing the Juggernaut deck, you're kind of saving them for this moment. So you pay the 2 reds, and then Juggernaut gains infinite attack for the rest of the game. Now, infinite attack for the rest of the game is pretty crazy. So, like I said, he doesn't gain any more attack by leveling up by a base, but you're usually going to be using the superpower, which is probably why you're playing Juggernaut in the first place. And when you do, you get infinite attack, which means your opponent can't minus your attack, and they can't reduce it because infinite doesn't get reduced. Now, of course, there are some abilities that can theoretically make his attack lower or non-existent or not matter, depending on what ability they're using, whether it stops you from striking or not and something like that. But generally, this means that anybody you attack, you're going to hit. Obviously, I think this main character is pretty cool. He has 6 health, which is obviously good. 10 defense, 5 on level 1 is good. 10 defense on level 2. The ability to get infinite attack for the rest of the game obviously is great. The invulnerability keyword is also pretty good too, although it's sad that it can't be used on defense. This is, obviously its biggest drawback because it's a very defensive power. But no, all of it I like about this main character. I genuinely think it's one of the cooler and better main characters out of all the Brotherhoods that came out of this box. Okay, so all the characters we talked about before have had cards in the versus system before. Now we have 2 main characters that came in this box for the Brotherhood Mutant set side of things that have not had cards before. So we're going to get into them. So first up we have Toad. He is obviously Brotherhood team affiliated character, and he has 5 health, 5 wounds, 0 attack, and 7 defense. 0 attack is actually not that as bad as it sounds. We'll get to that later. He has a special superpower, Prehensile Tongue. During the main phase, you can pay a red. Toad has ranged and plus 7 attack this turn. So he has no attack, but if you use the superpower, you can go on the offensive with him. Now, the main reason why he has no attack is because of his level up condition, which is Live to Serve. He levels up with 10 XP, though you can gain these XPs pretty fast. When a character appears on your side, Toad gains XP equal to how much more attack it has than Toad. So because he has 0 base, generally every character you play will have more attack equal to their own attack, which means almost every character you play will give you that many XP equal to their attack. And obviously if you play a lot of aggressive characters or even steady characters, you can level this character up pretty fast. Now, what would be the average level up turn for Toad? It's really hard to say, especially depending on what characters end up being needed to play a good Toad deck. But on turn 1, you probably get 2 XP. Turn 3, you should be able to get like 3 XP. I'd say you'd be able to level up turn 4, but it's not exactly set in stone, especially if you don't draw the right characters. I don't think the level up is it's going to go super speed level, but I don't think it's going to take as long as it may seem, being the fact that it takes 10. You may think, oh wow, it's 10 XP is a lot, but you'd probably be able to gain a lot of this XP pretty fast. For his level 2, he gains up to 11 defense, which is definitely pretty high. Most level 2s will have like 6 or 7 defense. He has 4 attack, though, which is low, but it's okay because he gains this new superpower, Mighty Leap. Fairy Mage can pay a green. Toad has flight and +7 attack this turn. So, obviously, you can only use this flight ability aggressively. Now, flight can also be used defensively in some cases, in which case you can stop other people from flying over you. But because it's only lasts for your turn, it can only be used aggressively in Toad's case, which is fine, because flight on offense is still a pretty good ability, a pretty good thing to have. But it's just the fact that you can't use this defensively, and also you got to pay for it, that you have to keep in mind when looking at this card. But obviously, +7 attack will bring up to 11 attack. And you also have base 11 defense. So you can definitely hit pretty hard when using this superpower and hit people that you may normally not be able to hit, or some other characters you may have at this point in the game won't be able to hit. I don't think Toad's a great main character, as in he's actually blowing me away, but I definitely looks pretty fun, and I'll probably test him out, have a little play around with him, even if just for the memes, because it's Toad. Okay, now of all the Brotherhood of Mutants characters, I believe this is probably the most exciting and probably the coolest. And if you know what's in this deck, or you know what's in this box, you already know who I'm about to talk about. And I mean in this box, like the Brotherhood of Mutants characters that came on this box is my favorite. This is what I'm most excited for, and that's Silver Samurai. Now, Silver Samurai doesn't get much play. He's been in like one live action movie, and that one people generally decide that it's not that good. But, he's definitely a cool character, at least in concept, because he's a samurai, number 1, cool. Number 2, he cuts things up. He can cut through almost anything. It's sort of like his thing. But still, I was kind of really happy that he finally shows up in the Versus 2 PCG, and now we can play with him and test him out and have fun. So he has 5 wounds, he has 3 attack, 4 defense, generic stats. He has his cool superpower, Tachyon Field. During the main, you can play a blue, and when Silver Samurai strikes an enemy defender in melee combat, this turn stun it. So striking is the act of attacking, but it doesn't necessarily mean the attack resolves. So you strike before you get stunned. So if you show up and you are successfully striking another defender in melee combat, even if they would have had the potential to hit you back and stun you, you stun them with this ability before they stun you, and then you don't get stunned. So that's a good thing to keep in mind, important, because you don't even need to ferocious, and if you use this ability, you can stun people before they can stun you. Now, his level up condition is test your strength. It level up 3 XP is needed, and when Silver Samurai stuns an enemy defending character in melee combat, he gains an XP. So obviously you can get this off easily without the superpower, and the superpower really just speeds it up. Obviously, if your opponent is playing the right characters, you can get the level up turn 3, though if they throw a wrench in your plan, they're playing defensively, they understand that you need to stun them, they could force you to end up having to level up turn 4, turn 5, which is obviously less than optimal, though I do think that if you're playing Silver Samurai deck, you'd be able to get the level up turn 3. And when you do, you finally level up into level 2 Silver Samurai. You then go up to 5 attack and 9 defense. This is like the 5 attack is kind of low, but that's okay. And then the 9 defense is obviously a little higher than we'd see normally. So he actually loses the original Tachyon Field superpower, and he gains a new advanced Tachyon Field. Now you have to pay 2 blues, which is obviously a little worse than 1. But for the rest of the game, when Silver Samurai strikes an enemy defender in melee combat, stun it. So he basically gets that Tachyon Field ability on forever, but you do have to pay 2 blues to activate it, and if you have ended up paying too many blues trying to use the original Tachyon Field, you might not be able to find the blues to get this done, though of course you have the special location and other things that may allow you to get it done in the end anyway. Point is, I really like this new advanced Tachyon Field superpower. It's like the Juggernaut power, except a little different and a little more thematic for Silver Samurai. Now he gains a new superpower too, the Ancient Art of Bushido. Now during the main, you can pay a yellow and draw 3 cards. And if Silver Samurai stunned an enemy character in melee combat this turn, you only draw the 3 cards if he stunned an enemy in melee combat this turn. Obviously, with the advanced attack on field superpower and the fact that you would be building a deck around stunning enemy characters, I think it would be pretty easy to get an enemy character stunned with Silver Samurai, somebody, as in like anybody, and then you could go on to draw 3 cards off of the second ability if you need it. Will it happen every time? No. Will it end up being that useful, being the fact that you're already in your main phase by the time you get these cards in your hand, and they really will only probably matter by the time you get to your next turn? Yeah, all these things are to be taken into consideration, but plus 3 cards for a yellow is good. And being the fact that he's kind of built around stunning enemy characters in melee combat, it's not far-fetched to assume that you'll be able to get it done and get some stuns off. Obviously, that was just our main characters, so now we have to look at all the supporting characters. We're going to get in the box. We'll start with 1 cost, with Blob. Now, he has 2 health, which is a little higher than what you would normally see for a 1 cost, but it's not exactly impossible. It's not crazy. My mind's not getting blown. He has 3 defense. It's a little high for 1 cost, but 1 defense is probably what you would expect, maybe sometimes even lower, so it's okay stats. He has a keyword power, gravitational mass allocation. Blob can't be moved on enemy turns. This probably won't come up very often, but if it ever would, then that's pretty cool. He also has the superpower pain immunity. On the main phase, you can pay a green, and Blob can't be wounded until your next turn. So with 2 wounds especially, you could get a decent amount of mileage out of this as an early game defensive piece to protect your main character. I think Blob seems to get the gets the job done. Now, the important thing is that he can still be stunned, even using the pain immunity superpower, which means that they can get past him, which I didn't really think when I first said that. So, in all honesty, I think he's fine. Nothing crazy. As a defensive piece, he's okay. But even for defense, he's not exactly blowing my socks off. Now we get to Toad. Toad has 1 health. Okay. 3/3 stat line is actually decently high, and he even has Leap and Grab. Now, Leap gives you flight on your turn. Grab kind of basically gives you flight on enemy turns. Not exactly, but also sort of. So in reality, he kind of just has flight, but the fact that they give him Leap and Grab, he grabs with the tongue, leaps with his feet, he's a frog, it's a lot more thematic than just giving him the flight keyword power. And of course, in small situations, it would matter, the difference will come up, but not in most. And usually, he basically has a character with flight, 3/3, 1 defense. It's pretty cool. Now, on to the 2 costs we have here. We have, starting with Pyro. We've had a Pyro in the past, and this one has 1 health, 2 attack, 4 defense, range. He has the Mr. Burns superpower. Main, pay a blue, burn an enemy character, an enemy front row supporting character. Definitely one of the best ways to get a character burned. You just front row supporting character, pay the blue, they're burnt. Burn, if you don't know, is basically at the end of each of your turns, you stun the burned character. So even if your enemy's front row character is a huge 12/12 or like 30/30 Galactus, you burn him and well, I'm not sure if Galactus can be burned. I'm not sure if I remember well. But anyway, even if your opponent's front row character is huge, massive, you burn him and then he's getting stunned every turn. So then you put the character on a timer on the clock. I really like Pyro, especially in the fact that you can get this out early game. Burn an enemy supporting character. Usually, though, you get more mileage out of it late game, though, being the fact that it would matter more. This ability would be able to mean more that can bypass defense and stun them each turn than obviously your other superpowers might. Now we have another 2 close supporting characters. It's Quicksilver. Sadly, we didn't get a main character of Quicksilver this box. Anyway, he has 5 attack, 2 defense, 1 wound drop. Now he has the out of nowhere super keyword power, and when you recruit Quicksilver, you may remove him from the game, and if you do, starting on your next turn during any of your recruitment steps, you may put him onto your side. So basically, you can recruit him, set him aside, and if you ever need him again, if you ever keep him in like reserves, if you ever need him again, if you realize I need some more manpower on the field, you bring him in, and now he can be added to your force with basically put a little kind of down payment on Quicksilver sort of thing. It's a nice little superpower. I'm not sure if it'll ever really come up, being the fact that's the only thing he has. He has 1 health and 2 defense. When he does come out, he's most likely just going to get stunned the turn after you use him for a quick attack. So really, you just you bring this guy in, you fling him, you keep him in reserves, and anytime you need a +5 basically stat buff, if you're team attacking or just 5+5 thing to throw at somebody, you bring him in, or if you need a little extra meat to defend. I like it, but I don't think it's actually crazy or anything like that. I think it's cool though. Next up, we have 3 costs. We have Dakin, Berserker, Violent. He has 2 health, 3 stats are 3/3, which is okay for a 3 cost. He has Berserker, which means when he attacks, he gets a +1/+1 counter, so whenever he's attacking, he's going to end up being a 4/4. He has Violent, which means when attacking supporting characters, he actually strikes or basically attacks with double his attack. So generally, if you're attacking a supporting character, you're going to be hitting for at least 8 attack, which is pretty good. I mean, you can stun most supporting characters you'll see on turn 3, turn 4, and maybe even turn 5, you'll be hitting and striking and stunning most of them. Especially with 2 health, I actually really do like Dakin as a supporting character. If not, maybe not the most crazy, mind-blowing abilities and stat line, but I think it's pretty good, and it probably get its job done. Next up, we have Sabretooth. Nice. 2 health, 4 attack, 2 defense. 2 defense pitifully low for a 3 even for a 3 cost. He has a superhuman senses superpower. Main phase, pay a red. Sabretooth has +4 attack and stealth this turn. Stealth means you get to attack characters no matter who's in front of them, flying, or of course even anybody else for that matter. And +4 attack, which means whoever's in the back row, they're most likely getting stunned. You have 8 attack swinging in, but again, 2 defense and no ferocious. Whoever you're attacking, they're going to hit you back, and you're going to get stunned by them as well. So it's a really like sort of, oh, this guy needs to die, I need to kill him. Or really the main thing important here is the stealth part, because most of the time you go, okay, your opponent's trying to protect this weaker character to get whatever ability they're trying to give them. I'm not letting that happen. Oh, the character you're trying to protect has a bit beefier, maybe 6 defense, so well, he's still dead. I like Sabretooth. I don't think it's blowing my socks off either, but a lot of these cards are very simple. I'll really have to see when I start playing around with them how good they truly are. So next up, we have our four cost characters of the box, starting off with Mimic. He has 4, he's cost 4, obviously. He has 1 health, 5/5. 5/5 is pretty good for 4 because, usually you get a stat equal to your cost. But, it's not exactly amazing. He has a superpower, Mimic See, Mimic Do. During your main, you can pay yellow, and for each character on your side with each of the following names, Mimic gets that effect. So if you have an angel on your side, he gets flight and air superiority. Air superiority, if I'm not mistaken, means that you can't be struck by characters with flying. So he basically controls the sky. Then because he's on the side, you just get to draw 2 cards. If Cyclops on your side, you get ranged and fast trigger, which basically is ferocious for ranged characters. If Iceman's on your side, you get to freeze an enemy character. If Marvel Girl's on your side, you choose a character on your side and it gets +0, +10 this turn. All these abilities on their own are pretty good. Obviously, my favorites here are Draw 2. I like freezing an enemy, and I like giving a character... Well, no, I don't really like Marvel Girls. Cyclops is fine, and obviously Angels is fine. But the important thing here is that if you have all of them on your side, or if you have Angel and Iceman, you get to do both of these abilities as far as I know. So you don't have to choose. If you have them on your side, you get to activate each of these effects, and if you have all of them on your side, you get the full force of the original 5 X-Men. I really like this card. I don't think it's that great though. 1 health, you're probably gonna die pretty fast. But if you happen to be playing whatever deck you need to be playing to have all 5 of the original X-Men on your side or in your deck at the same time, I think it's a pretty cool inclusion to have along with that. Now, for our other 4 cost out of the Brotherhood Mutant side of this box is Scarlet Witch, 1 health. She has 4 attack and 4 defense and ranged. Scarlet Witch has this really cool keyword power called change probability, and as a combat with Scarlet Witch resolves, flip a coin for each enemy character who would strike, and for each one who loses the flip, they can't strike this combat. This is sort of like the domino one that came on that 5 cost mutant resistance domino. Though I do believe this one is a little bit worse, though this one does cost less and have the better team affiliation. Because the Domino one, I'm pretty sure, could be used on offense, where this one is purely defensive. Though it does have other ways it can work, because everybody who tries to attack her, each gets their own coin flip, which means that there's a chance that some people who are striking, if their team attacking her, could end up still hitting, and if they're strong enough, they could end up dealing damage. Problem is that I do believe that it is sort of a deterrent. People might not want to commit multiple dudes strictly on the hope that one of them hits. If you have to team attack her, which she only has 4 defense, I don't see why that would be the case. But if you had to team attack her, then you most likely be team attacking her strictly because you're afraid, what if one of my dude loses a coin flip? I'll have to attack her anyway. I'll try to get it through this way or something like that. But I can't really see the multiple working on different people separately has a little bit of mind game play to it, but I don't think it's really that crazy of a downside or an upside even. Here's the thing. I like this card. I like this card a lot. It only works with from a Scarlet Witch, which means if they decide to go for somebody else, it might not work. You put it in front of somebody, it could end up working as a pretty good defensive piece. It could be really annoying. They're a really big guy, but he still can strike her because she's flipping. They're flipping terrible that day. It's going crazy. It's down horrendous for them. But I really do like this card. I do think it has its utility. I'll see how good it ends up being, especially outside the Brotherhood of Mutants deck. See if anybody ends up playing it for its ability. On to the 5 cards characters, we have yet another Avalanche. Now, Avalanche has had like 2 supporting characters in the past, I believe. So it's not exactly weird to see somebody have 3 supporting characters, but what I'm weirded out about is the fact that it's Avalanche. I mean, I feel like there's better characters that could have been chosen. Not to say that Avalanche is a bad character, but onto the card, he has 7 defense, 6 attack, ranged, 1 health. He has a really cool ability called Seismic Shift. When Avalanche stuns an enemy character in combat, you may turn an enemy location face down. Now, there's a couple things to point out when you look at this ability. First off, he doesn't have to be attacking, which means someone attacks him and he stuns them back, he can flip the location face down. Second thing is that it can be any location, not just a basic one. So that means that you can get to flip down their special locations that may give them other effects or even just their wild special locations. So as far as I know, those are considered because of those are locations. So I really like this ability because you can use it offensively, and if your opponent's trying to get first and tries to attack you, you can use it defensively, and you can really shut down some of their plays if you get the stun off. I think it's a nice little card, and obviously the 1 health deters it from being great, but that doesn't change the fact that I really do like the ability. The second 5 cost character we have is Juggernaut. Now, Juggernaut has 3 health, which is decently high for any really card. You really don't see 3 health except if the character's cost goes like to 8 or above. Now, another thing is it's not impossible to see 3 health. We've actually seen a 5 cost 3 health in the base set, so I'm not saying it's actually changing the game, but it is decently high. When you see 3 health, I mean, it's a lot. He has 7 attack, 5 defense, little aggressive stats, and he has the superpower Headbutt. In the main, you can pay green. Daze an enemy front row character, Juggernaut could melee attack. This power is fine because generally, when you have people in the front row, they're the character's biggest character. They're trying to defend their main character, and they have some dude who's really big, who really you can't get past. Maybe has a bunch of +1/+1 counters on him. You daze him, you put Juggernaut in the melee range. He's in melee range. You daze him. It's not great. Obviously, there's a little bit of limitations here. The thing about it being that Juggernaut could melee attack means that if for whatever reason Juggernaut can't melee attack, or for whatever reason that character can't be melee attacked, then you can't use this ability on them either. But generally, it's a nice little way to get past strong, powerful cards. And with 3 health, I think it's a pretty cool card. For 6 costs, we have Mystique. She has that same Infiltrator ability that she had on her main character, whereas you can name a team. Mystique can then attack enemy characters with that team this turn, even while they're protected. Kind of gives her stealth for a certain team. It's a nice ability, I think. It's pretty cool. Not actually blowing my socks off, but especially on a 6 cost, but I do like the ability. Range is fine. 5 attack is meh. 10 defense is good. 1 health, it's a little low. So usually at 6, you want to see 2 health. Though I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with the 1 health 6 coster, but I'm talking about good stats. You want to see a 2 health on a 6 cost. For Silver Samurai is this other 6 cost we have. He has 2 health, 7 defense, 8 attack. He has a cool ability, Master Strategist. When Silver Samurai appears, you may move an enemy character to his front or back row. So again, if you have a big character in the front row that you can't deal with right now, and you hit somebody in the back row, you move them back. Or if your character they're trying to protect, and you realize that even after you move at least one of the characters to the back row, they still have too many characters in the front row, you can move a character they're trying to protect to the front row, Now they're just in melee combat for all your characters. Then of course he has Combat Master. When Silver Samurai is in combat, enemy characters can't play plot twists. This is important because sometimes plot twists can give them an extra defense buff, or rather just change the way the combat works, making it bad for you and good for them. Combat Master basically says what you see is what you get. I'm swinging in with 8 attack. I know you only have 8 defense. You're not going to do anything about it. I like Combat Master. I like Master Strategist. And, I like the stats. Stats are pretty good. I like Silver Samurai. For the 7 cost, we have Alpha. He has 1 health, 8 defense, 10 attack, flight, and ranged. 1 health is definitely a little low, but the stats sort of make up for it. Super Intelligence is a superpower. During the main, you can pay yellow. Each enemy character has 2 less recruit points on their next turn. This is a really good ability. It really sets the curve back. If you're going first and you play this card, your opponent's coming up on their turn 7, you basically put them back turn 5 for that turn. You brought them back to turn 5. It's definitely one of the better superpowers. It's definitely a good superpower that you can use. It really sets your opponent back, and then they're playing there. Then you're going to be ahead, not for the rest of the game, but pretty much. You're going to have a little bit of an edge, especially if you need to edge this turn. You know they're going to play something you don't want them to play. Okay, they have a 7 cost I don't really want them to play. I'm stopping them from playing it by basically saying they have 5 resources next turn. And if they don't play a resource next turn, which is very unlikely, they'd even be at 4. Theoretically, if you're going first, you're on your 7th turn. They're coming up on their 7th turn. But you can use it in other situations too, beyond turn 7. Now, next is Magneto. He has 2 health, 11 defense, 9 attack, flight, ranged. He has a superpower Metal with Metal. Metal with Metal. During the main, pay a blue, rearrange any number of equipment. Thing about this ability that I didn't realize when I first looked at this card was that the simple thing is that he can rearrange your opponent's equipment too. So if your opponent's playing an equipment heavy deck or just has one equipment that you don't really like on a character that you can't really hit, you move it around. If you have your equipment not set up in a way you like, maybe you played equipment on a character you know is going to die, you're not going to stay on very long, or just really not that useful, you move it on to someone that can deal a little bit more damage. I like the ability in general. I don't think it's actually blowing my socks off. Depends on what type of equipment your opponent's playing. Depending on the equipment you're playing, obviously. But really, equipment aren't the most common thing in the game. So in most cases, this ability won't do very much. But it is very cool. Magneto messes with metal. He moves around equipment. It's at least thematic. As for the plot twists in the box, they also, because secondary mutation is an X-Men and a Brotherhood's plot twist, I would want to talk about this, but I did already talk about my thoughts on it in my X-Men video, so I think you should just go watch that if you want to hear what I think, or if you just want to really see the card. Next up, we have Always Attack. Now, Always Attack is sort of the opposite of Defend the Weak, if one of the X-Men plot twists. And so basically, during combat, you can choose a character on your side in the combat, and it gets plus 3 attack, plus 1 defense. I'm inclined to like this one a little bit more than Defend the Weak, because the sole reason is that the 1 defense is, again, it's a little bonus stuff like to fill out those numbers, but I think 3 attack is a little bit more rare to see on a plot twist than 3 defenses, if I'm not mistaken. And there's not really that many aggressive plot twists, as far as I know, that straight give you stat buffs. But anyway, I think I just like this card a little bit more, because I know these cards aren't very good, but if you look at the basic plot twist in the core set, then the defense one I think gives you plus 3 defense, and the attack one gives you plus 2 attack. So this one is definitely better than the attack one by a good margin, and the defense one, the Defend the Weak, is only a little bit better than defense one. Now, I'm saying this, and I understand completely that those cards aren't very good, but just to sort of think about and balance the numbers a little bit. Anyway, the next plot twist they have is Burn It Down. It is a Brotherhood of Mutants card, but it is Mutant Loyalty, which means you can have in your deck if you have X-Men cards in your deck, but you have to have only X-Men and Brotherhood cards in your deck. Though you still can't play the plot twist unless you have an X-Men character on the field. Now, during the build phase, you can turn you can turn up to 2 enemy basic locations with different names face down. It's the opposite of the X-Men card Build It Up. It just burns down your opponent's locations. This card is equally as good, if not better in some cases, because I know there's a lot of main characters who really focus on one location, and because that's the main one they use superpowers around, and you burn them down, and you really set the game back, or maybe give yourself a chance to catch up. But still, I think they're on equal footing, because again, because of how important locations are and superpower symbols are, it's really important to have them and keep your opponent from having them. So I think both of those two cards are equal in that area. Now, the other Brotherhood immune card is Fierce Pierce. Now, during the combat, any turn combat, if it is melee combat, choose a character on your side to get Ferocious and +2 attack this combat. Ferocious is a very, very good superpower. To be able to get it simply off of a plot twist, Ferocious is not a superpower, it's a keyword power. To get it off of a plot twist is always good, plus the extra added bonus of +2 attack. I like this card quite a bit. Of course, depending on the character you're playing, it's not going to matter. If you're playing a more defensive character, or if you're playing a character who doesn't even really have that high of attack, get the +2 and Ferocious probably won't end up mattering. But if you're playing someone like Juggernaut with infinite attack, and literally with Ferocious you almost can't be stunned while attacking, or even while defending, definitely I like this card in that context. So that really wraps up as far as I know, that wraps up the box, because the only other cards other than that card is, beyond these cards, is the special locations, or the locations the Asteroid M and the Brotherhood of Mutants. But those are wild resources, and I don't really need to talk about those. Of course, there's locations in the deck, in the box that you'll get, so you can play your game, but those just do what locations do. Now, I'm going to move on into my full review and thoughts of the entirety of the box. Okay, this is going to cover my thoughts on the box in its entirety. It's going to count some of my thoughts for the X-Men side of things that maybe I didn't get to say on the X-Men side, but I think I kind of gave my full opinion on the box sort of in the X-Men video. But what do I have to say now, looking at both sides of the box? First things first, I do still believe that the main character slots were misused. I'm fine with Magneto and Professor X, the main dudes, they have to be in the set. But I still feel like the other main characters, having another Mystique, having another Juggernaut, not to say that those are bad, but just simply to say I don't think we really needed them. I think there's some better choices that could have been had to give us new main characters. But don't get me wrong, I understand why they did it. Because here's the thing, they're trying to pull in new players at the same time as keep old players happy. Pulling in new players means you have to ensure that they're going to get characters they care about. You can't put in random dudes that nobody ever heard of and expect them to be happy when they buy the set. That's for new players. For older players, though, they were kind of hoping. We've seen Magneto, Charles a couple times in the past, and so we're kind of hoping to see characters we haven't seen, some of our favorite characters with a little more nuance to them. So in both cases, I understand why they ended up doing what they did. They focused more on characters we knew over characters we didn't know. For the X-Men side of the box, we only got one character we have never seen before. And on the Brotherhood side of the box, we got two characters that have not had main characters before. Toad has had a couple of cards, though, so that's an important note. He has a couple supporting character cards. My point is that I would have helped to see certain characters get main characters in the box. Bishop, Havoc, Nightcrawler. Obviously, I know a lot of people are feeding for Nightcrawler because he never even got a supporting character. I mean, we've had like two Vanisher cards, and if you don't know who Vanisher is, he's like an evil mutant who can teleport. So basically, we have two Vanisher cards, and we have yet to get a singular Nightcrawler one. Obviously, this is making me think maybe they have something against Nightcrawler. I don't know why. I know there's a lot of maybe something in the background that could be stopping it, or maybe because nobody on the team is really that much of a fan of Nightcrawler, so they don't really care about getting him. It could be really anything why he's not in the game, but I do recognize the fact that Nightcrawler should have been in this set. Other than that, I think the set is good. In the terms of obviously trying to pull in new players, it's very simple, though I know a lot of people think it's too simple. I don't really just agree with that, because there's a lot of abilities that are pretty thematic and at the same time pretty good. Simplicity is okay as long as it's still fun. And simplicity becomes bad when you're just hamming it up, throwing anything on cards, just saying, okay, that sort of makes sense, let's do this. But we've seen these type of abilities 1,000 times before. A lot of these abilities are unique and new, especially when we get into the new Brotherhood's box and the X-Force box. We can see a lot of new fun ideas being played around with, or rather just cool, interesting things that are still very simple. But for this box in total, I think it's okay. I think I like it. Obviously, if you're a new player, I think it's one of the best things you can pick up because X-Men is really popular. You get a lot of cool X-Men characters in this box, and of course, it's very basic. And if you're trying to build your X-Men collection, it's definitely on the list because you just build up and burn it down, especially, I believe, are two of the best things you can get from this box, plot twist-wise. Obviously, you never know what main characters or supporting characters might end up breaking the game or just becoming really good. I do recommend this box, but this is sort of an expandable card game. It's hard to say you don't recommend any box. That's all really I have for today. That's sort of my review of the House of X box. It's good for new players. It didn't necessarily blow my socks off, but I think it's fun. I think all the abilities are cool. If you guys are interested in seeing more Versus System 2 PCG content on the channel, then stay tuned. And if you're not, then watch out. I got some other forms of content coming in soon. Hope to see you there. As I alluded to in my X-Men video, I do believe that there's a good chance that we might get more X-Men sets in the future, and that of course includes Brotherhood of Mutants characters. I do believe that we could get sets that includes characters like Nightcrawler, Apocalypse, Mr. Sinister, characters people were hoping to see in the set, didn't get, characters that are really big in the X-Men universe and we didn't get them yet. Thinking Age of Apocalypse story arc would make sense to come about in the near future. The thing is, I'm pretty sure they've already revealed that the next Marvel set after this set will be about the Fantastic Four, and I hope that means that we're going to go down a trend of getting more and more sets based off of old team affiliation and bolstering and supporting old decks and old ideas, though of course we'll just have to wait and see.